Worse than CBDCs. Globalists publish plan for worldwide financial enslavement under unified ledger. If you thought central bank digital currency CBDC plans sounded dystopian, just read the new Unified Ledger Agenda released by the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, known as the Bank of Central Banks. The plan, found at this link on bis.org, is entitled Blueprint for the Future Monetary System, Improving the Old, Enabling the New. This new plan describes an Orwellian, globalist-run unified ledger that records the ownership of all assets, checking accounts, real estate, bonds, stocks, etc., on a centralized exchange run by globalists. All assets will be tokenized, a process that the BIS describes as recording claims on financial or real assets that exist on a traditional ledger on a programmable platform. This unified ledger will feature programmable entries, meaning that your ownership of assets can be revoked or altered at any time, according to the social engineering desires of the globalists. If you speak out against child sex trafficking, for example, or child trans mutilations, all your assets can vanish from the unified ledger. That is how you will own nothing, in case you were curious. Let's rejoice, because the absurd insanity we are experiencing is forcing more and more people to awaken. However, we must have compassion for those who are incapable of awakening, because the injections have created a separation from the individual soul. The only way out of the matrix is absolute non-compliance. The CBDCs will make it impossible to function in the system. I'm not interested in survival, which leads to inevitable death. I choose to live at all costs. I'm absolutely certain that the courageous ones must choose to get out of the matrix completely by November 2023. Please view the many videos I created on the time wave spirals. I was blessed because my jail experience forced me to leave Canada and what appeared to be a perfect life as a very successful dentist and mother of 2 wonderful children. One needs great courage to jump into the complete unknown, but it is an absolute necessity in this evolutionary crisis. Today, I'm in a position to assist individuals who choose life. Just 2 kilometers from our farm, I discovered a small development. One can purchase a lot of 1,000 meters square and a 3-bedroom house for $60,000 US at today's rate of exchange. While your home is under construction, you can start developing the agriculture of such a inchy nut, avocados, pineapple, yucca, papaya, bananas, citrus fruit, and a vegetable garden. One can raise chickens and other small animals. A long-term stay at Cascata Cafe Retiro is $300 US per month. I also offer dentistry, including complex full-mouth reconstruction at a cost of 35% of European and North American prices. The global prison planet is being dismantled, and we have the honor of witnessing this. I conclude by encouraging you to continue your inner evolution despite the current world scenario, which can seem worrying when we forget that the divine is behind everything and that the supernatural world is at our doorstep. Please share my videos. Infinite love. This centralized, globalist-controlled unified ledger stands in sharp contrast to cryptocurrencies, which are structured on decentralized distributed ledgers with no centrally controlled authority. Additionally, most blockchains are non-programmable and also immutable, meaning no one can go back in time and retroactively change the ledger entries for Bitcoin, for example. What globalists want to achieve is a system of assets and finance where you never have custody of anything. When you deposit money into a bank, for example, you have no custody of that money. The bank does. And the bank can decide at any time to seize it, or freeze your account, or declare bankruptcy. A government or law enforcement agency may also order those assets seized, and the bank will readily comply. When you hold cryptocurrency, gold or silver on the other hand, you have custody, and no one can take them from you except by force. Right from the summary of the BIS document link above, we find out that the BIS sees its new unified ledger tracking all the assets issued by central banks. In other words, this is even larger than just CBDCs. It combines the assets of all central banks while also tokenizing and controlling real estate assets, stocks, bonds, pensions, and anything else that can be represented through digital records. The BIS document goes on to state that all tokenized assets can be subjected to regulatory rules set by governments. This dual nature of tokens could be used to good effect in a supervisory and compliance setting by directly embedding supervisory features into the token itself, which can be tailored to specific rules. The upshot of all this is that globalists will have total control and ownership over all your assets, and those assets, their existence, will be subject to increasingly insane globalist rules about accepting propaganda lies about the climate, transgenderism, child mutilations, elections, pandemic, war, vaccines, and more. If you don't conform to their transhumanism demands, all your assets will vanish. And that's exactly why self-custody is the perfect answer to escape this globalist tyranny. If you want to have any assets at all, they must be assets held in self-custody. Bank accounts are not in your custody, nor are stocks, treasuries, bonds, or almost any other investment instrument. Real estate can be in your custody if you live on the property or can assert a physical presence at the location of the asset. Gold and silver in your possession are obviously self-custody assets. The game being played out in front of us is keeping humanity in deep division. As long as you believe there is the right side and the wrong side, evil is happy. I posted a video entitled JP Morgan's Secret about the CBDCs. In this video, George Gammon explains how evil will bring in this unified ledger. While most people are trying to fight and resist the CBDC issue. Here is the link. The name of the final game is More and More Confusion, as average Joe tries to find a way to hide, while it is becoming clear that there is absolutely nowhere to hide. Here are a few more comments made by Lynette Zhang from ITM Trading. BRICS nations preparing with gold-backed currency. True or false? I provide the link. Lynette confirms that there is no way that any currency can back their currency with gold until they get rid of all the debt. BRICS is set to introduce a new currency backed by gold, in contrast to the credit-backed US dollar, with the decision coming a month ahead of the bloc's summit in Johannesburg. With the growing initiative, more and more countries are lining up to join the group. So, it is going to be a trading currency. 41 countries ready to accept BRICS currency a month before summit. The BRICS countries are planning to introduce a new trading currency which will be backed by gold. More and more countries recently expressed desire to join BRICS. A BRICS currency could shake the dollar's dominance. De-dollarization moment might finally be here. July 2nd, 2023. This article is dated April 24th of 2023. A BRICS currency could shake the dollar's dominance. Assets dominated in the BRIC would actually have characteristics likely to make them unusually attractive to foreign investors. Among the major drawbacks of gold as an asset class for global investors is that in spite of its risk-reducing value as a diversifier, it does not pay interest. Since the BRICS reportedly plan to back their new currency with gold and other metals with intrinsic value, like rare earth metals, interest-paying assets denominated in the BRIC would resemble interest-paying gold. That's an unusual characteristic. It is one that could make the assets denominated in the BRIC attractive to investors who want both the interest-bearing property of bonds and the diversity properties of gold. They are doing this to get people to buy into the new system. People will believe their currency is backed by gold. But the fact is, you cannot redeem it for gold. It is just another mind manipulation technique. So, what are the officials at the BRICS Bank actually saying? BRICS Bank officials discusses common currency as reports of gold-backed BRICS currency gain attention. The BRICS Bank's vice president concluded, it's going to take a very long time for currency movement to take shape, so any discussion of an alternate currency is indeed a much more medium and long-term aspiration. Masdorp insisted, no one is suggesting right now that the BRICS will form an alternate currency, emphasizing, all we are suggesting is that we need to deepen the use of local currencies of our member countries, and over time that is going to strengthen our ability to immunize or insulate our economies from the devaluation of our currencies if we borrow in dollars, for example. But there is no suggestion right now to create a BRICS currency in that sense. Humanity continues to ignore the fact that there is nowhere to hide. People want to believe that we will come out of this insanity after a certain amount of time. Words of wisdom. Above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within him or around him, and so loses all respect for himself and for others. And having no respect, he ceases to love. Fyodor Dostoevsky. The return to normal will never happen, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not. Social, medical, political, economic, legal, geopolitical, and cosmic upheavals will intensify. This is not surprising when one understands that the purpose of Earth is spiritual. It is the place of the manifestation of the divine directly in matter, a universal first taking place now. And Homo sapiens is the transitional species that is designed to consciously experience this change in their own physical body. We are in the midst of this pivotal time where the old world is still apparent, as the new divine matter grows within our very bodies. The time has come for the next step of human destiny, the new eidesic species. Will you choose to align yourself with the divine plan or the Luciferian plan? There will be a time when things flip to a new reality, like there has been a time when the mental being was able to manifest on Earth. It will happen when a sufficient number of consciousness will feel very strongly that it cannot be otherwise. The Mother, Carnet de Laboratoire, 1950 to 1973. Infinite love.